What is going on, you guys? How are you guys all doing today? I hope you guys are having a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you guys may be. Getting straight into today's video, I wanted to talk about something that a lot of you guys have been asking me personally, and that's just kind of the overall unreliability of European cars, or BMWs more specifically in general. Now, in this video, I'm going to be sort of breaking down, in my own opinion, as an average consumer, as your average enthusiast, why I believe that BMWs, or like German cars kind of in general, are unreliable. And just as a quick disclaimer, obviously I drive a BMW, I really like BMWs, I like European cars, and so I'm not, out to get these companies or to put a bad name on the European car community or the cars in general. But I think that overall these cars do have certain characteristics and poor design qualities which can and should be addressed overall, because I think as a community, if us enthusiasts work together and kind of show these issues and show people as to why they are prevalent and why they can affect the cars and the overall reliability, maybe it'll help in the long run BMW and other car companies build better design qualities and use better materials and just better parts in general to help make more reliable cars in the future. I'm not a mechanic also, I'm just a car enthusiast. I like cars a lot. I started my YouTube channel and just do a bunch of car stuff, and I know a decent amount, but I'm not a mechanic, I'm not an engineer, an automotive engineer. Like, I'm not into all that stuff. I don't know the specific tech features about every single thing and design aspect. These are just kind of my observations as a car enthusiast, and as just someone who has kind of just been intrigued by these cars in general. So with all that being said, you guys, let's get straight into this video, and we're going to start off in the engine bay of my BMW specifically. So to begin, you guys, I think BMWs are unreliable in two main aspects. The first being poor design and cheap materials used in the parts. Now, with all that being said, again, I want to throw in one final disclaimer, and that is, not everybody has the same experience. For me personally, my BMW has been pretty good to me overall. I haven't had that many issues with it, especially because it's a 335 twin turbo. A lot of people say it's the most unreliable BMW you can buy. I really haven't had that many issues, guys, and I think a lot of that has to do with just how you take care of the car, how you drive the car, how you maintain the car. Obviously that plays a huge role, but at the end of the day, even with all those factors being at play, a lot of times people can still run into issues with the car. So like I said, I'm going to break these down into two categories. First being poor design and cheap materials. Alright guys, so let's take a look under the hood of my car specifically, which is a 2007 BMW 335i with the N54 engine. Now, to start, I'm going to be talking about the poor design aspects of these BMWs in general. And like I said, I'm not hating on this car. I just want to, from what I've seen, I've noticed a lot of things that could have been designed better overall in the car, and this is just coming from someone who's seeing this from an outside perspective. First off is the amount of heat that this engine produces. Now yes, it's a twin turbo inline six, it's bound to produce a lot of heat, and there's nothing wrong with that. The issue, however, with a lot of things is the fact that, first off, you have the intakes right here. The intake location is right next to the right side of the engine, the very hot side of the engine. So the air gets really hot as it enters the engine. Not only do you lose performance, but it also causes more heat on the engine. In addition to that, the 07 models of the 335i do not have a sufficiently sized oil cooler, and some models don't even come with an oil cooler. Additionally, you can't see it, but the intercooler is not sufficient as well for cooling down the incoming air charges that are from the intakes and that are going to be fed into the turbos. The intercooler gets heat soaked, the intakes get heat soaked. Heat is a really big issue on this car, and because of the immense heat that is produced by this engine, it is a very high performance engine. It's an amazing motor, it produces a ton of power, but with that comes a lot of downsides, especially with the heat. Now this kind of brings me into BMW using cheap materials. Now, for example, let's take a look at this, the coolant expansion tank. If you guys follow my channel, I just replaced this coolant expansion tank with a brand new one. But guys, it's made of a really cheap plastic, and not only that, the tank itself is sealed into two pieces right here. And this at this point where it's sort of glued together or sealed together, that's a weak spot of the coolant expansion tank, and that's exactly where my coolant was leaking from on my car. As you guys can see, this isn't one piece. Right here, it connects down to the base of the coolant expansion tank, and that area is prone to cracking and leaking. In addition, let's take a look at some of the other things. Boost canisters right here, made of plastic. Coolant expansion tank, like I said, made of plastic. You look at a lot of these coolant lines and these coolant hoses, they're made of this very brittle rubber plastic material, which over time, with the amount of pressure from the coolant system, the amount of dramatic heat changes and stuff, tends to get very brittle and is prone to cracking or just even simply breaking off completely, which happened to me multiple times. My upper radiator hose cracked, drained all my coolant out of my car when I first got this thing. You look at these, you know, lines over here and these coolant hoses, it's almost like a ticking time bomb. They're just ready to burst at any moment. You know, the more you drive it, the more brittle they're gonna become. Additionally, let's take a look at some of the boost lines. Now, you guys can't really see, but if you were to take off this engine cover, there are plastic boost vacuum lines that sit directly above the car's valve cover, and there is no sort of heat shielding or any sort of protection to make sure that these boost lines or these vacuum lines literally don't melt on you. And sure enough, that happened to my car. Because of the fact that you guys can kind of see them right here where my finger is, but these lines that run directly over the valve cover, one of them actually completely ripped in half and threw my car into limp mode. My car was making no boost, and for about 2.5 weeks, I had no idea what was wrong with my car. Turns out I took off the engine cover and I found out that to be the culprit, and I was just in dismay at the fact that how can BMW run these cheap plastic vacuum lines over one of the hottest parts of the engine and not put any sort of, you know, better material or shielding to protect it from the heat. And as you guys can see, my car went into limp mode because of that. Additionally, if you take this off again, the valve cover on this car is made of plastic, and a lot of times what ends up happening is because of the heat from the engine again and the, you know, temperature and pressure changes over time, the valve cover is very prone to cracking. So a lot of times when people replace the valve cover gasket, they'll go ahead and just replace the valve cover itself, and that's an extra $400 on top of a, you know, $300 to $400 valve cover gasket job. Moving back over to the right side of the engine, kind of bringing into the final areas, as you guys can see, this is the charge pipe, which handles all the boost from the turbos and whatnot. The charge pipe is made of plastic. The diverter valves are made of plastic as well, which is another poor design. A lot of times on these cars, especially if you tune them or do performance mods, the charge pipe is known to crack, known to explode even, and a lot of times the diverter valves will come loose, they'll pop off, or the, you know, charge pipe will disconnect from the intercooler piping or even from the throttle body. It's a very common thing for that to happen, and a lot of times people will upgrade the charge pipe to an aluminum one. Additionally, one other thing that I almost forgot to mention, if you guys look near these boost canisters and stuff, down there it's almost impossible to see on the camera and in person, but you have your water pump and thermostat location. Now guys, the water pump, and this goes for all BMWs, is one of the most prone things to going out on these cars. And the water pump has an extremely poor design. It's plastic, it has plastic impellers on the inside, and it's just a poor design. Over time, the water pump will start to fail, and then that drives the thermostat nuts, and the thermostat doesn't know what to do. It's, you know, constantly it's in charge of all the coolant temperatures, and over time then your thermostat goes out, and that's another couple $100 to replace. So anyway guys, that's just kind of a taste of what I could find personally in my own car, a BMW 335. I'm sure if you guys go and look into your own BMWs, you guys can find just as many things, and I'm sure there are things that I missed, but like I said, I just want to reiterate, I'm not hating on the car. Like, I love this car. If you guys follow my channel, watch my videos, you guys will know that I absolutely love my car. But this is something that I really wanted to address to a lot of people, because at the end of the day, you can still maintain your car, you can still take care of it, follow all the maintenance routines and stuff, yet your valve cover can still crack. You know, the gaskets can still go bad, you know, your coolant expansion tank can start leaking, your charge pipe can explode on you if you go wide open throttle on the acceleration. Those things can all still happen regardless of how well you maintain the car. So I just wanted to kind of show that off to you guys. I know a lot of people are going to be disliking this video. A lot of people are going to be upset with the fact that I am making this video, but I think it's really important that, you know, as a community, as car enthusiasts, we get together and we point out these issues and problems, not only to educate other people, but at the end of the day, hopefully we can encourage car manufacturers to produce better cars of better quality. So that's kind of the goal of this video, you guys. Anyway, you guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys were able to take something away from this video, found it informative, enjoyed it, whatever. If you guys did, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, Simply Car Things. I do a lot of really awesome, fun automotive content. You guys can follow my build on my BMW 335. I have a ton of awesome things planned, you guys. Catless downpipes are coming in, more bolt-on mods. I'm gonna be featuring my friend Marcel's 370Z, my friend Sean's BMW M3, some exotic cars might be on the channel as well. So much exciting stuff, as well as a lot of expanding as well. I'm in the works right now is a Facebook group and page for Simply Car Things so that I can help expand my community on this channel and we can just all help each other out and communicate. So a ton of stuff is planned, you guys. I'm so excited. I hope you guys like this video, and I don't really have much else to say. I'll catch you all in the next video. Later, guys.